Douglas Hodge said hi to me. He said hi to me. Hello. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Makenzie Janel, and today we are going to be doing something a little bit different. So instead of doing a reaction video today, we are going to be shifting gears and we are going to be getting into something that I'm very passionate about. Other than movies and like TV shows and whatnot, I am extremely passionate about acting as a whole. If you guys have been on my channel for a minute, I think the first video I made when I came back on my channel last year was a video of me talking about my experience working on Apple TV show Swagger, which I believe has been canceled, but I did background work for that show, which was really, really cool. And last year, actually, I worked on a show for Amazon called Cross, and season 1 just came out today. I did watch the first episode just to see if I was in it, and I absolutely was. I'll probably put the clip in.
Your decoration has a nice ring to it for the Armada Hotels. Okay, so you're just gonna piss on everything I
wish global warming was real. Hey, you want to slander COVID vaccines, that's one thing, but you leave that climate change and non-bullshit at the house. Seriously.
I was really, really happy, really excited to work on it. So I kind of want to just sit here and talk about like my experience on the show for the time that I worked as background on it, kind of how I was able to get that, like how I was able to get into that work. And then I just want to kind of share how to get into background work generally if you're interested in acting. It's not something I talk a lot about on my channel just because it's, not a really quick moving career for me. It's my career choice. It's the field that I want to go into, but it's not like bustling. It's not a super fast-paced thing for me. It's a very slow climb. Recently, I believe in March, I did a short film. That was really fun to do. I was a lead in that. And I usually put the link in the description of like all of my videos. So if you guys want to check that out, then, you can go ahead and check it out. But yeah, Cross is based on, I guess, a character made by James Patterson, a writer. So this is one of James Patterson's works. It was created, though, by Ben Watkins, I believe his name is. And he wrote the show. It is set in DC. So again, I live in Michigan, but from 2021 to 2023, I lived in Maryland. So how did this come about? How did working on this show come about? Well, I'm glad you asked because I'm going to answer that. While I was living in Maryland, when I graduated high school, I got really serious about wanting to act and get into professional acting, but I didn't have any experience. So I will say right now, immediately, if you want to get into acting, background work is the best way to do that. You can't put it on your resume, but the experience is really valuable because it really showed me how a film set works. So in my last video, when I was talking about Swagger, the hours for background or an extra, whatever you want to call it, are they're pretty freaking long. Like for Swagger, I was paid for 15 hours of work. So my call time was like 7 a.m. and we did not leave that night. We didn't finish shooting that episode until 10 that night. It was crazy. I was so tired. And it was kind of the same thing with Cross. I wasn't there for as long, but I was there for about 12 and a half hours, I believe I was paid for. So when I started to take acting more seriously, I pretty much just kind of looked up like what was the best way to kind of step my foot into the water. And one of the best ways they said was to begin in background acting. And if you don't know what background or extras are, it's quite literally that. Like you usually aren't going to have any lines. You're probably not going to get seen in the camera a lot, which I wasn't. Like in both of the shows, in Swagger and in Cross, I was not in the camera that long because that's not the point of being a background. That's not the point of being an extra. The point of doing background is to provide atmosphere, because it wouldn't make sense just to have the main characters on a screen unless that's what you're going for. But when you're doing a setting that usually has other people in it, like the scene that I was in, then you need other people to make it seem like it's normal. So in this scene that I was in for Cross, it was literally just a bunch of us by a coffee truck in the middle of DC. There's going to be people in the middle of DC. It's a super busy place. So you need to make sure that there are people there that look like they're actually doing something. And you can't just really pull people off the street to do background, because I feel like some people kind of just like do too much. Like, you need people to be able to follow directions, and you need to be able to put people in specific spots. So background was the best way for me to get into acting. I think that was a really good avenue because it taught me, you know, how to follow directions on a film set and how to look natural while not like actually doing anything. So for me, I decided, instead of trying to like get like parts in shows and movies, because I knew that wasn't going to work because I didn't have any acting experience under my belt. So what I did was, when I was living in Maryland, I found different background casting companies, and I basically put my name in databases so that when they had something like a show or a movie or something filming in the area that I was in, my name would be in the database to pull from. And that's what happened with Cross. I got an email, and they were kind of secretive about it at first. It was like for like a new Amazon show, and it was like just like a regular business person or whatnot. And what they usually do for background, they send you out an email basically asking for like your availability. So I was like, heck yeah, like I can work all 3 days. I was only scheduled to work for 1 day. It was the first day of filming the show in DC. So therefore, that's why I'm on the first episode. And also, from what I heard, only the first couple of days were shot in DC. And the rest, I believe, they shot the show in Canada. I'm pretty sure. Once they do like a check or whatnot to see who's available and whatnot, they'll ask if you like want to work a certain day or something. So of course, I said yes. And what happens after that is that you have to go take a COVID test. I'm not sure if every film set is doing this anymore, but even with like Swagger, we had to do COVID tests. And I'm guessing it's because there could be like a large scale of people there, I'm guessing. So we had to COVID test. I had to Uber to DC, but the good thing was that where I was living in Maryland, it was literally only 30 minutes. So not bad at all. Only information that I had received was that I was just going to be like a random person in like Washington, DC, and it was for a new Amazon show filming. That's the only information I had. So I literally, I went online. I was like, new Amazon shows filming this year. And I found out that it was Cross. So I'm like, oh my gosh, okay, yes, good. So once I had got to the COVID testing place, it was for Cross. So went there, got my test results back. They were negative. I was good. And I didn't hear any information until like a few days before we had filmed. I believe it was January 16th, the day that I filmed. So yeah, there's definitely a gap between when you film and when you see it, because literally it's been more than a year since we filmed this show, and it's just now coming out. It's so crazy how long you have to wait for. It's so crazy because you don't even know if you're going to be on camera. But I was like, you know, it seems like I was in camera for a little bit of good time, you know, so, and there wasn't that many people, so maybe I'll be on camera. And I was on camera. Not really my face fully, but I was there. I know who I was. I can point myself out. So yeah, once that happens, usually they'll give you like an email telling you like your call time. Your call time is basically when you're supposed to show up on set. My call time, I believe, was like, I want to say close to like maybe 6, maybe 7 in the morning, but I think it was earlier than that. They told us to just wear like business casual, but they also said to bring like like 1 or 2 changes of outfits, I believe. I went to the Salvation Army, actually, and I just, like, found random stuff. And what's actually really cool about this experience was that I'm a big fan of Zendaya. She's one of my favorite actresses. And while I was shopping for, like, business clothes or whatnot, I had found some pants from her fashion brand that she had in, like, 2016, the Daya by Zendaya. So for me, I'm a big, like, signs person. So for me, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm definitely on the right track right now. Like, I just randomly find some pants to wear on the shoot, that on the set that I'm gonna be, you know, filming as a background in. Like, that's so cool to me. So I got my clothes, and the day of, I had woke up really, really early to get dressed and get ready. I had prepared, like, 2 other outfits that were, like, business-wise or whatnot. One of the outfits I got to wear, actually, but they cut that scene out. So I didn't get to see myself again. So once we got there, we go to holding. That's, like, where actors go when they're not ready to be used on set yet. So we were there for a few hours until, like, 7 something, which is when we started filming. But it was a hotel. Thank God. Because on Swagger, it was just this huge tent and it was loud and crowded. But there was a lot less people for Cross. And once we got there, like, we confirmed who we were, went downstairs, like, we were going to, like, basically get hair and makeup done or whatnot. Usually when you're background, you don't need to get, like, the full works with hair and makeup unless they're, like, they want you to look a certain way. But me, I literally just had my hair, like, half up, half down. I don't know how to do makeup, so I didn't have any makeup. They were like, maybe put some lip stuff on. I'm like, cool. I don't have any lip stuff, so you're just going to get a bare face from me. Sorry. And I went through wardrobe perfectly fine. Like, they were like, oh my gosh, this is a perfect look. So that's already, like, a really good thing when you want to be background that I'll talk about, because you want to stand out, but not in the sense of, like, I'm trying to take the attention, more so in the sense of, like, you understood your assignment, you understand your role, and you know how you play into everything. So I was really excited about that they were like, okay, we don't have to change your outfit. We don't got to do anything to it, but show me your second outfit. So I was under the impression that we were only doing, like, 1 scene or something. But no, we had shot with background. We had shot 2 different scenes in 2 different locations. And I did not know that. But I'm going to get into that later. Once we were down there, we, like, put our stuff down, sit with a bunch of, like, random people, introduce ourselves, yada, yada, yada. And we had to go back up to go through a line for, like, breakfast and everything. And we literally just sat there until, like, 7 something, until it was time to start filming. So once we left the hotel, we had went to go on set, like, cameras, everything's already set up. And we just had to wait to be told what to do. Like, that's literally just what being background is. Like, if anyone, like, ever wants to know how fun it is, background is not fun. I'm gonna be just completely honest. A lot of the time, you're just standing there waiting for somebody to tell you what to do. With Swagger, we got to sit on bleachers for literally, like, 14 hours. With Cross, we were literally just standing there, just outside. And it was, like, raining. Not really bad, because you can't really tell in the show once I watch it. But, like, it was raining. Not hard rain, but it was definitely, like, drizzling and, like, misty. So, it was cold out there. It was January, my friend. January. It was cold. Like, my hair was getting wet. My clothes were getting wet. I'm like, oh my gosh. And you really just can't do anything but just be there until someone tells you where to go. So, in my case, they had plucked me out to basically just stand in a line as the video shows. I was literally just standing in a line for coffee. They were like, walk up, take the cup, go off somewhere. And they're like, just stand there. And that's literally it. But we shot it from a bunch of different angles and perspectives. So we just did that over and over and over again. That's literally just what background is. You just do stuff over and over and over again until they're like, cool, we got it. And it's not even you. It's not even, like, based on what you're doing. They just want to make sure, like, the main actors are good. And you just have to do your job to just be background. And that's literally what I did. I walk up, I smile at the guy, don't say anything because you don't have any lines. Walk up, I smiled at the guy, took my coffee cup, and I walked off. And that's literally just what I did in the video, because that's all you have to do. It's easy in the sense that, like, no one's depending on you to get it perfect. But it's still, like you're still acting, you know? Like, I still had to be, like, a businesswoman just getting her coffee and just going about her day. Like, it's not just like, oh, I'm gonna just get this coffee cup and then walk off and boom, I did it. Like, no, it's like you literally do have to act like you are a character that's just living their own separate life apart from whatever plot they got going on. Pretty much. It is what it is. But it's something that I like to do because it really helps me, like, it helped me get familiar with a smaller set. Like, Swagger was really, really, really big. There was no chance to stand out. There was no chance for individuality. You were literally just, I was literally just a face in a sea of people in the show. And it was like a basketball game happening at the same time, so you're literally not gonna get seen for real. But at least in Cross, in this show, I was seen. And they had specifically picked me out to be in that coffee line. And for me, that's a big thing. It's a big thing. Because at least I know for a fact the camera is going to see me because I'm there. I'm there with the main actors. So once we shot that scene, main character, played by Aldous Hodge, also seen in The Invisible Man and Black Adam. Yes, like he was literally there. I talked about this in my Swagger video, how O'Shea Jackson Jr. was there, and I was like, oh my god, freaking out. But it was even crazier because I got to see Aldous Hodge up close, and actually me and this other guy, like, talked to him. He's like, hey, how y'all doing? I'm like, hi, how are you? How are you, Mr. Hodge? I was so excited, but he was waiting until it was time to come on set. So he comes on set, and it was kind of funny because you could feel the energy shift. People are like, ooh, like people are like, let me see if I can talk to him or whatnot. And we filmed a couple of different scenes of him just like walking. He was with Isaiah Mustafa, and I didn't get to say hi to Isaiah Mustafa. Also, if you've seen him, you know him from like Shadowhunters. But I did get to say hi to Aldous Hodge, so that was really, really cool. After we were done shooting the scenes, we took a quick break to have like hot chocolate or whatnot, but there was also this guy that came out from like a union or something, and people were like really asking him questions. I wasn't really thinking about that because I'm just like, I wanted to just be focused, and I was more interested in watching how the rest of like the film crew worked and how they set everything up. But once we were done with that, we went back to holding for lunch, I believe. And what I didn't know that they were picking people to go do the second scene. I thought that we were doing this first scene, and then I don't know what I thought. I guess I thought everyone was going to do the second scene, like do background for the second scene. That is not what happened, though. I think at that point we had already been working for 8 hours. And usually for background, you get a flat rate for 8 hours. And anything over that is overtime. So the 15.5 hours that I did on Swagger, I got overtime for that. But what they did is, and this is why I say that making an impression, but not trying to be like individually standing out is the best way to do it. Because in my mind, as background, you go in and you do your job to the best of your ability. Don't try to do too much. Don't try to like sneak some lines in here and there or something. Like sometimes it can pay off, but it's a huge risk when you know you're not supposed to be doing that, you know. What they did was they made a list of people that they wanted to go to the second scene to do background on. So it was probably a group of like 25 to 30 people or something like that. I can't remember. And they kind of whittled the list down to like 12 people, I think, to go to the second scene. I was the second person on that list. I cannot tell y'all how happy I was when they were like, Makenzie, Janel. I was like, oh my So we kind of just had to wait. Like everyone else, they had got like a wrap on the day. They were good. But we had to wait, and we actually had to go back through wardrobe. So the second outfit I had brought, I wore it. It was like just regular black jeans and some boots and like a sweater. And they gave me a coat to wear. The second scene that I was in, they had put us on a bus and we drove down there. It was in front of Ben's Chili Bowl, I think the place is. Like, it's an actual place in DC, like a really popular place there. And it was literally just me, like me and this other girl were paired up together, and we would just walk past the Chili Bowl while Aldous Hodge and Isaiah Mustafa, their characters, were walking in to the place. Like, so they were walking, and the camera's following them, and me and her go, like, we literally pass right in front of them, and they go in. That scene, I believe, got cut from this episode because I did not see it while I was watching. I was kind of like, dang, that sucks. I wanted to see if I could see myself on there. But, you know, people cut stuff all the time, so it is what it is. That whole experience, though, was really, really fun. I got home, I was like, wow, that was great. And I had thought that they would, like, call me back for more days. But unfortunately, they didn't. So I only worked one day on set, and that's because they took it, like, they only did a few days in DC, and then again, I think they filmed the rest of the show in, like, Canada or something. So yeah, they didn't call me back for any other days, which sucked, but you know, the week after that, I started my semester of school, so at least I had a cool story to tell. But yeah, I would say it was a super fun experience. And in general, being background is pretty cool. Like, I'm not going to sit here and lie. It's kind of boring, yeah. And it's kind of tiring because you're not doing anything. Like, if they're telling you to walk, you're just walking. If they tell you to clap, most of the time you're not like, woo! Like, most of the time, you're just like, but it's still acting. Like, you're making up the atmosphere of a place, and it's got to be realistic, you know. I debated on whether or not I wanted to watch it on the channel, but I don't think I am, because I'm going to get through it too quick. So I don't want to watch it on the channel. Maybe we'll talk about it at some point, but I just wanted to not flex, but kind of flex the fact that I did work on the show. So I mean, I don't know, I thought it was cool. I mean, it's Amazon. You know, like, I don't know, that's kind of cool. I just wanted to kind of talk about my experience in it, but I also wanted to use it to segue into how, if you want to get into acting, how background acting could be a really good avenue to do it. So I mean, it's not a foolproof plan, but me personally, once I decided that acting was what I wanted to do, I kind of just went like full tilt into it. I was searching up, like, all the things that I should be doing, like, things like getting headshots, taking acting classes, and, like, building up your resume. Stuff like that is really, really important. But if you're like me and you can't afford acting classes, and you can't afford expensive headshots, because I'll tell you right now, headshots, honestly, like, acting headshots go anywhere from like $250 to like $1,000. Yes, USD dollars. Expensive. Good headshots are really important to have if you want to have a professional acting career. But for those that can't afford them, you gotta supplement it with other stuff. I do not have headshots. I do not have any professional training, and I don't have a long resume. All I got I got the plan. I literally just need the platform. At least with background, you can demonstrate that you have knowledge of being on a film set or a TV set, but also it can show that you know how to do your job, how you can take directions, and that's really, really important, especially on a film set, on a TV set. You need to know how to take directions while still being able to act, you know. But if you are someone who is considering acting as a profession, or maybe just as a hobby, I know a lot of people that I've talked to on these sets where they're basically just like, that's just what they do. They like to just act as a hobby, and they make a couple $100s from it, because I'm pretty sure both of these shows paid me like $2 something. $200 for a day of work. Why not? Like, it was a day I wasn't working. It was a day I wasn't getting paid. So, a little couple $100 to your account. So why not? Why not get into it, But my advice would be whatever area you're in, like the DMV area, DC, Maryland, Virginia, they film a lot of stuff there. I believe the new Cruel Intentions show was being shot in DC or something like that. I can't remember. So I went looking for TV shows that I liked and like movies I liked. And I basically saw, like, I look at who cast those. Like, who is the team in charge of casting these shows and casting these movies. And then I go and see, like, who does background. Because usually there's a team of people who do background. So the database that I was in for Swagger actually showed my name for Cross as like a suggestion because I was already in there from a previous show. And I had put my name in there when I was looking at people who cast for background stuff. So the casting that did me, it's called Kendall Cooper Casting in the DMV area. And they cast a lot of stuff. Just from having my name in a database from a previous project, I got another job, So I would say look into background because it's much easier to get into. And it's a nice little paycheck. Unfortunately, you can't put background acting on your resume. But... and it doesn't happen often, so don't go in with the expectations that it will. But there could be that time, that off time, where you get lucky. And instead of being like just background, you can get promoted to a day player or something. If you don't know what a day player is, a day player is basically someone who is literally only acting in a role for a day. Just a day on set. Like, they're not a character with any kind of continuity in the rest of the plot, but they're there as like just a singular character for that moment in time. And those people, they get lines and stuff. You get more money if you get your role upgraded on a set. I just want to tell you that. The rates are different. Background get paid the least amount of money because we don't have any lines. Like, we're not integral to the story. But as a day player, you get a little pay bump because you usually get some lines or something. I mean, imagine you could even get upgraded to like a supporting cast member. That does not happen a lot, like at all. But there's always the off chance. And my motto when I'm doing background work is basically to do the job that makes you stand out. Like, I don't know, it's not a really good way of phrasing it, but basically I come in and my objective is not to get noticed. Because that's not what you're supposed to do as background. You are supposed to blend in. I'm not trying to come out with the intention of getting any lines. I'm not trying to be upgraded to anything. I'm not trying to do anything because you're going to be disappointed if you go in wanting that. I go in, once I do background work, I go in and I say, just be the character who you're supposed to be and just do the job. And people will notice your professionalism. Like when I came in my first outfit, wardrobe was very, very impressed with me. And they relayed that to the people who were doing it, to the, like, what am I thinking? Like, director and whatnot. We came out as a group and they picked people to stand in specific spots. But because because I looked the part and I was, professional about it, they, were like, you stand in this line. You're there to establish the scene. You're there to make it feel real and lived in. You are not there as a main character. You don't have lines, but your job is just as essential as anyone else on a film set, on a TV set, and that's what's really important. Also, it's important to do it in your area. I follow a lot of casting databases from different states. Like, I was following the casting for the people who did Outer Banks. So I saw when the show was filming, but I don't live in North Carolina, which was where they pretty much were for most of filming. They were in Morocco too filming, but in the States they were in like North Carolina filming. And I couldn't get there, unfortunately. At least if you want to know, like, if you have a favorite show and you know where it films or something, and you're like, oh my gosh, like, I wish I could be on that show or something, go find who does the casting for the background of that show. Not who does principal casting, which is like main characters and supporting cast, but find who does extras, who does the casting for background. That could give you a good gateway if you get chosen or something. Usually they don't want to do it for people who don't live in the area, who are not local in the area, because here's a big thing with background. They don't pay for you. If you are a main character, like, they'll probably fly you out or something to the state that you're filming in. Like, you get accommodations. With background, you don't get accommodations. So like I said, I had to Uber like 40 minutes to DC to do it. That was money out of my own pocket. I had to Uber there and Uber back. I had to get my own clothes, my own business casual clothes for the scene. I had to do my own hair. Like, you don't get accommodations. So don't try to spend too much money for just background, because you only get paid for the work that you do in it, not anything else. So just to remember that. But also, there are things that you can do or you can have that can make you more money or make you a little bit more important in the scene. Like, for example, Outer Banks, when they were doing casting for background, and for the Superman Genesis movie, the new DC movie, that filmed in Ohio. Y'all don't understand how much I hate the state of Ohio, but I'm going to let y'all know right now. I'm from Michigan. I hate Ohio. The only thing good about Ohio is honestly Cedar Point. I'll be like in like maybe Kalahari or something, whatever, but I don't like Ohio. But I liked it when James Gunn was filming Superman in Ohio. Now, at the time, I found who was doing the casting for the movie in Ohio, who was doing background. But the problem was they weren't casting for, like, people like me. Like, they had specific people that they wanted or whatnot. But the point of that is to say, if you have a project or something, like a movie or something that you're excited about, or a show that you know films in a certain area, you can go find who does casting for that movie or for that TV show. And if they're like asking for people to submit and you feasibly could get there to do it, then do it. Like, sometimes you get a pay bump for cars. Like, if you have a specific type of car, you get more money. If you have a pet or something, you get more money. Or sometimes I know the Pretty Little Liars show or something was casting for like twins. You get money for that. For bringing in your twin children and just letting them be there. You get money for that. So it's definitely a lot that you can do when it comes to background. Like, a lot that you can do. But it also just gives you a different experience. Like, if you have never done any kind of movie or TV show before that you filmed and you want to get into the acting industry, background is such a good way to do it, because it helps you listen to directions. You get to see how a film crew moves, the speeches, the phrases that they use, so that you don't get confused, and you learn so much on a set. You learn so much on a set if you just sit there and just watch. Just sit there, watch and listen, and do what you need to do when you need to do it. So yeah, this was definitely like kind of a long video, I feel like, which is fine, but I just kind of wanted to, first of all, kind of just say how excited I am for the show. A lot of people don't, I mean, some people, you know, probably won't think it's as important, but you really do have to start somewhere. Like, you literally have to start somewhere. And this is the somewhere I'm starting. And you know what? This is not a bad start. Doing background for Apple TV and Amazon, not a bad start at all, my friend. Not bad at all. But also, I just wanted to kind of come onto my channel and remind everybody what I'm passionate about, because I love watching TV, I love watching movies, but at the end of the day, the career that I'm chasing, the field that I want to be in, I want to be an actress. So I feel like I need to at least make videos every once in a while that fosters that desire of mine, which is why I have this channel in the first place. I want to be an actress, and I feel like in order to be a good actor, first of all, you need to like movies. You need to like the film industry. And I love it. I love TV and I love films. So I wanted to share that with you guys. And also, I kind of wanted to flex a little bit. Yeah, Aldous Hodge said hi to me. He said hi to me. Like, I saw him in person. Like, he walked past me. He said, how you doing? How am I doing? I think it's time. I think it's time to put a ring on it. But anyways, I digress. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope that you got some valuable information from it. Or, you know, you get the added benefit of being like, oh yeah, this girl on YouTube, I know she was in that show. You don't have to tell them what I did in it. You just have to be like, oh yeah, this girl on YouTube, yeah, she was on that Cross show on Amazon. Because that's cool. I'm like, that's cool. That's cool to say. We will go back to our regularly scheduled program next week. Remember to comment, like, share, subscribe, do all that good jazz. Turn on my post notifications if you want to know when I post. And let me know if you guys like these type of videos where I'm talking more about acting and, you know, doing less reactions and whatnot. And if you have questions or if you want to see more things. And again, I'm going to just plug the short film that I did back in March called Leaving Evelyn. I played the lead role of Grace. So that'll be in my description box. And that's all. Hope you guys have a good one. Bye.